Hi, Odyssey Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a horror thriller movie named Countdown. Feel free to share your preferences for the types of movies you'd like to see more of in the comments section below. The film begins with some friends having a party and drinking. They chat about an app called Countdown, which tells you when you'll die. Each person shares their predicted death date. One friend, Courtney, finds out she's supposed to die later that night. After the party, Courtney's boyfriend Evan, who is drunk, tries to drive her home. Because of the countdown timer, she's hesitant to let him drive and insists on walking. Evan gets angry and drives away, leaving her to walk home alone. Later, she receives a notification stating that she broke the rules of the Countdown app. As Courtney walks home, a mysterious cloaked figure shadows her closely. However, the figure eventually detaches, enters a nearby car, and drives away. Courtney, feeling uneasy, hurries into her house, locks the door, and peers outside. In the bathroom, she fills a glass of water, checks the shower, and suddenly the Countdown app signals. Shocked, she accidentally drops the glass and is lifted into the air vertically, then dropped, resulting in a fatal neck injury as she hits the bathtub. The setting changes to a scene in the woods where an SUV has crashed. Evan is revealed to be the driver, and in the passenger seat, where Courtney would have been, a tree branch has pierced through the truck and the seat. This indicates that Courtney would have met a fatal fate even if she had stayed in the car. At the hospital, Evan encounters Quinn, the main character and a nurse. She attempts to console Evan, who is scheduled for surgery and using crutches with a foot cast. Evan expresses sadness over Courtney's death and is anxious about his own life, as the Countdown app predicts his death during the surgery. Quinn introduces her colleagues, who work under head nurse Amy. Some of them download the Countdown app, laughing about the time they supposedly have left. Suddenly, a couple rushes into the hospital room, with the girlfriend appearing to have overdosed. The hospital staff quickly administers a dose of Narcan to revive her. Returning to Evan, he roams through an under-construction section of the hospital to evade surgery. He receives the user agreement violation on his Countdown app. In a hallway mirror, he glimpses a hooded figure behind him, but it vanishes when he turns. Lights flicker, prompting Evan to flee to a stairwell. There, he spots an illusion of Courtney on the steps, calling her name. However, when she turns around, her face is decayed with yellow eyes. The scene cuts to the bottom of the stairwell, showing Evan falling along with his phone. Quinn finishes her workday, downloads the Countdown app, and discovers she has 3 days left to live, but she doesn't take it too seriously. On her way home, she visits her father's house to gather information for her I-9 work forms. The TV is on, and she hears a noise in the closet. Upon opening it, she finds her younger sister, Jordan, with a bare-chested boy. Quinn scolds her sister for the unexpected discovery. The relationship between the sisters is strained, with the younger one resenting Quinn for not spending enough time with her and their father after their mother's death. The next day at work, Quinn learns about Evan's death. She goes down to the location where his body is kept to retrieve his phone. Quinn, investigating Evan's phone, comes across a photo of him with Courtney on the home screen and decides to look into it. Upstairs, she cancels plans with her dad and sister and receives a notification about violating her user agreement. While walking through the halls, a dark figure appears in the background of her room, disappearing when she looks back. Quinn's supervisor, Dr. Sullivan, manipulates her into a room under the pretext of checking on a patient, then attempts to pressure her into sex. Despite her refusal, he forces himself on her, apologizing afterward. In the hallway, Quinn attempts to confide in Nurse Amy, but Dr. Sullivan interrupts by calling her to attend to a patient. Back at her own home, Quinn researches the Countdown app, watching videos and reading comments, some of which dispute the authenticity of the app. Later, she sees the ghost of Evan, which unsettles her enough to spend the night in her car. The following day, her sister wakes her up, and they go inside. With their father out of town and Jordan escaping from the family friend's care, tensions rise between the sisters. An argument ensues when Jordan isn't allowed to stay over, and she threatens to download the app and invite the boy from earlier in the movie over before leaving. Quinn heads to the cell phone store to purchase a new phone. She panics when the Countdown app re-downloads itself on her new phone, despite having a different number, SIM card, and service. In her car, she spots the cloaked figure in the rearview mirror and accidentally backs into another person's car during the encounter. The other driver confronts her, and Matt, who is also there due to the Countdown app, comes to her defense. Quinn and Matt visit the hospital to speak with the priest. In the meantime, Matt is attacked in the bathroom, and Quinn faces confrontation with the HR department. Dr. Sullivan has twisted the story, blaming Quinn, leading to her suspension. Later, at a bar, they deceive another customer into downloading the app to review the user agreement. They discover that changing plans that were meant to result in their death is what triggers the violation of the user agreement. Quinn and Matt seek advice from another priest who might know about the demon haunting them. The priest suggests that he can provide more help if they manage to hack the app. They return to the phone store, where they bribe the manager to hack the app. They not only add more time to their own countdown clocks but also to Jordan's, who downloaded the app and is expected to die 3 minutes before Quinn. That night, Matt stays over at Quinn's place, and both of them receive alerts that their countdown clocks have reverted to the original time. Quinn is then attacked by the demon, and her sister is also in danger, prompting them to rush to the babysitter's house to save her. The trio goes back to the priest, who explains that the app's code is in Latin. He shares a tale of a demon from biblical times who tormented a king for avoiding his death. According to the story, a gypsy informed the king that he was meant to die in battle. In an attempt to cheat death, the king sent his brother to fight in his place, but the brother survived. To ward off the demon, they perform a ritual involving blessing a ring of salt. When the demon appears, it tries to lure Matt outside the ring by triggering a loud alert. Despite the noise, Matt, engrossed in apologizing to the ghost of his deceased younger brother whom the demon mimicked during the hospital attack, unwittingly steps out of the protected area. Matt grapples with guilt over stealing his dying brother's dinosaur at the hospital when they were younger. During the confrontation with the demon, his younger brother's eyes turn green, and the demon drags him outside. Quinn and Jordan chase after them. Once outside, they find Matt seemingly unharmed, only for him to be struck by a truck and pinned against a tree, leading to his death. Quinn, overcome with grief, starts crying and begins to come to terms with her fate. However, her sorrow deepens when she discovers that her sister was impaled in the abdomen during the pursuit of Matt. They rush Jordan to the hospital, where Dr. Sullivan attends to her injuries. A coworker takes Quinn aside and discloses that she, too, was sexually assaulted by Dr. Sullivan. She offers to support Quinn if she decides to take legal action. Quinn devises a plan discussed with the priest, causing someone to die before their predetermined time will defeat the demon. She lures Dr. Sullivan to the under-construction wing of the hospital. Quinn attempts to inject him with a lethal dose of morphine, but the demon intervenes, dragging him away during their struggle. Jordan arrives, and the demon pursues her, ultimately throwing her through a window into another room. In a desperate move, Quinn captures the demon's attention by starting to inject herself with morphine. The demon takes on the form of her mother, trying to delay Quinn long enough for the countdown to expire so it can claim Jordan. Despite the emotional manipulation, Quinn resists and administers the lethal dose, causing the demon to disintegrate into ash. Jordan rushes to her collapsed sister, grieving over her apparent death. To her surprise, she discovers that Quinn had written on her arm a diagram indicating where to inject Narcan. Finding a syringe in her pocket, Jordan administers the Narcan, miraculously bringing Quinn back to life, and the two share a heartfelt hug. The movie concludes with Quinn, Jordan, and their father visiting their mother's grave. As they depart, Quinn receives a new notification: Countdown has finished updating to version 2.0 on her phone, leaving the audience with a lingering sense of uncertainty. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.